Hello, everybody. How you guys doing tonight? Driving here on Brookhurst, came all the way down Brookhurst from Fountain Valley. There was a homeless guy, and he had a sign, "We'll work for food," which is cool. So I took him home, gave him a pen and a pad, and said, "Here, write me a few minutes of material." And you're going to hear it now, okay? "Hey, I didn't get the sandwich." Sorry, he wrote that. Okay. Hopefully this special will be on Amazon Prime. Do you watch Amazon Prime? Yeah. My wife and I just watched recently the latest Tom Cruise movie, the Mission Impossible. Have you seen that? Yeah, we haven't seen it. So we just saw it, and the whole time she's talking about Tom Cruise, you know. Tom Cruise this, Tom Cruise that. And I'm like, Tom Cruise? I mean, take away his looks and his talent and all of his money, and what do you have? She said, "Well, you." So I said, "Wait a minute, just to get this straight, are you saying Tom Cruise is sexier than me?" She goes, "Well, look, in his own way." I said, "What way is that?" She said, "Physically." She didn't want to come. She didn't want to come tonight. I go, "Why don't you want to come?" She goes, "I've heard all your material, you know, I've heard it all." And so I told her a joke, and she went like this. I said, "High five, good joke." She said, "No, it's the fifth time I've heard it today." I remember when I first started doing comedy, I took a comedy class. Some of us start that way. And the first class we do is kind of a graduation class after it's kind of like this, right? And I remember I went up, and the instructor asked how I felt, and I said, "I felt like I didn't do anything for the audience. They hated me, and they never want me to come back." And he said, "Go with that feeling." And then I remember I wrote 50 jokes, and I sent it in for a comedy contest, and they replied, they said, "Mr. Duplitsky, the contest is not based on volume." Thank you very much. Comics, you know, look, we do not have, comics do not understand marriage. I'm married. Most comics are not. A lot of comics are not married. They don't understand anything about, you know, what it takes to be that, because they think in terms of only comedy sets. That's it, only comedy sets. So when I got married at 3 o'clock one day, and 5 o'clock we were in Las Vegas for our honeymoon. And I ran into a comic I know, and he goes, "How's it going?" I go, "I got married 2 hours ago." And he said, "How's it going?" So the first hour was a little slow. The second hour was strong. So that's how we think of it. Before I left, my wife's like, "I don't understand really how you can do comedy in this time of the environment. Like there's wars and everything, comedy and war. Like, I just don't know if it's funny." So I wondered if she was right. So I Googled comedy and war, and you know what came up? Our marriage. I'm Jewish. I have been to Palestine. I visited, that's where Jesus was born, you know. So I went to Palestine, and they had all of these things, kind of like we have here, but they're knockoffs, like right around the church where Jesus was born, you know. So for example, it's all fake. I'm serious. Like, it's true. There's nothing that's real right around there. Like they have, it looks like Starbucks, but it's called Star and Bucks. That's true, Star and Bucks. They don't have KFC, they have KF&C. I guess they don't have to pay royalties or something like that. But my favorite at the time was Bethlehem and Beyond. That's my favorite. I have a comedy brand called the Top Banana. You know, Top Banana was a brand of comedy before a lot of the famous clubs you hear, and it was famous back in the 1950s, so I brought it back and reintroduced it to comedy. But Top Banana has a different meaning these days. It means a lot of different things. So I was actually in Laguna Beach this morning, and I was eating a banana, and I was walking around Laguna Beach, and I guess it was the way I was eating the banana, a nice gay gentleman came up to me and goes, "Excuse me, but the way that you're eating that banana, it's wrong." I said, "Oh, I don't know, how should I be doing it?" He said, "You should peel it first." Who knew? Thought I'd been doing it right all this time, you know. As you can see, I have no hair. It's shiny. I have no idea. Is my head lighting up the cameras? I've got no idea. It could be. I tried everything, I don't know if you've ever watched infomercials. Anybody know there are 45-minute commercials, I think, that come out at like 2 in the morning when your buying resistance is really, really low. I don't know if you've ever bought anything. I bought something called spray-on hair. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a real thing. It's hair in a can. Right? Has anybody heard of it? Spraying it. It is hair in a can. So that didn't work, so I tried the paint version and the cream. Now I use roll-on. They had my color bald and gray. That's good. That's good. I looked into hair transplants. I did look into it. I thought, I really want hair. So I asked my doctor about hair transplant. I said, how much is a transplant? He said, about $30,000. I'm like, oh. So I want a hair transplant, not heart transplant. So I live in Fountain Valley. Yeah, you guys are Fountain? That's pretty cool. Yeah, Fountain Valley. I went to high school with Michelle Pfeiffer. Someone you may know is Michelle Pfeiffer, right? You've seen her in the Batman movies and Scarface, right? And just a million movies, right? Well, okay, one night after a party, okay, all of the beds were gone and there was nowhere to sleep. Michelle Pfeiffer and I shared a bed together. Now, nothing happened. We just slept. Well, she slept. I was like, I cannot sleep. You can't sleep next to Michelle Pfeiffer. There's just no way. Somebody wondered, well, how would Michelle even be in the same world as you? How would that happen? How could that even happen? Well, back then I was young and strong and athletic, and I had a beautiful head of hair. Roll on. Now, Michelle Pfeiffer was not the only famous person I knew back in the day. I also I didn't sleep with Michelle, slept, but I did actually sleep with someone you might know as Janet Goldberg. You might know her now as Janet Goldberg. She was really, really famous in Fountain Valley. All right. I travel a lot. You guys, I don't know if you travel, there's a lot of charges on the statement. Have you seen that? Yes. There's a new charge called destination tax. Have you seen that? Or destination fee, I think it's called. Now, it's not a resort fee. They don't call it a resort fee. They call it destination fee. And that's the price they charge you from going from one place to another. That's it. Now, I don't mind that so much, but I do mind the new hooker tax. Well, they don't call it, they call it destination tax. So. Last night, I paid 2 destination taxes. Go to the gym, try to go to the gym. I don't do anything there, just go to the gym. There are people there, I saw one guy there, he had a body by, what I think, body by God. Like it's in perfect shape. Now I've got a body by a king, Burger King. You could always hear Luz's laugh there. I was at the gym, and I overheard 2 women talking. So one woman was telling her personal trainer, she said, Crystal never comes to the personal trainings anymore. And the trainer said, it's okay, Crystal's in perfect shape, she doesn't need to come. And then the other woman is like, yeah, but I'm more consistent. What does that mean? Dave Chappelle is not here tonight, but I'm here every day, okay, so. It might be, I don't know if you can tell by looking at me, but I've been through divorce. Surprisingly, only once, that's the thing, okay. Okay, here's the thing about divorce. The average person that gets a divorce is 31 years old. The oldest person ever to get a divorce, 97. Yeah, right, 97. Can you believe that? I guess he still thought he could, meet the person of his dreams and spend the rest of his last 90 days together. You know what I mean? I have a daughter. When she was really little. I used to take her out a lot, and I never knew really whether women were, wanted to see her, whether interested in me. I didn't know. So I remember pushing her in a stroller, and this one woman came up and she looked at her and she goes, "Oh, how cute! How old?" I'm like 38. Okay. Pinch my cheeks. That's. My former wife is a surgeon. Yeah. Yeah. Now, okay, comedians and surgeons, we have a lot in common. I have a lot in common with my ex-wife. We both tend to work in complete silence. That happens a lot, okay? That's an 8. All right, okay. That's an 8. And the thing about being married to a surgeon is that when at home, people they thought because I'm married to a surgeon that I know about surgery. They think I know about surgery because all of her friends were surgeons. So it's before cell phones, and they would call and they would ask for her, is your wife there? No. And they say, oh, no, I don't know. I'm about to do a bypass. And I'm, thinking of entering through the abs or the pancreas. I'm like, I don't know. But I would definitely use a condom, I think, if you're going to definitely use a condom. Another thing we have in common, comedians are, we get heckled, right? I don't know if you know this, but surgeons get heckled too. Did you know that? Surgeons, in their own world, I guess everybody gets heckled. So she came home really, really upset one night, and I said, what happened? Apparently what happened is that another doctor had gone into her patient's room and looked at the chart and put a plastic green frog on the table next to the patient. I don't know if you know what that means, but that means your patient's going to croak. That's dark, right? That's really dark. So, okay, I'm just going to say this. If you wake up and there's a plastic green frog on your table and you're not in a pond, that's not good. That's all I'm saying. That is not good. That is not good. You can't really watch a movie with a surgeon or a doctor. You can't, because they know too much about medical. You can't watch a medical kind of movie, right? One time we were watching a movie, I remember it's called DOA, I don't know if you heard of it, but the man in the movie gets poisoned with this poison that's called the luminous toxin. That's the name of the toxin. And she's like, that's ridiculous. She goes, there's no such thing as a toxin that glows in the dark. It would be so easy to detect. It made me think, we were thinking about getting life insurance policies. I'm saying, you could poison me and nobody would know. I was joking, I was joking. She said, oh, really? Don't you think that a team of insurance investigators, knowing that you're married to a doctor, and if I was to poison you and then try to collect on an insurance policy that we don't even have yet, that would point to me, don't you? Glad you haven't given this much thought. You know what I mean? So we did get a divorce, and in the divorce papers, the divorce said, the papers, I was listed as being lazy, selfish, and insensitive, which is a lie, because anybody doing all three can't be lazy. Would you agree? Can't be lazy. As part of a divorce, what they do is the judge wants you to exchange credit card statements for the last 2 years so you can check each other's finances. That's what they do. It didn't help that I have a credit card from Hooters. That didn't help. It didn't help. So she was married, so I looked at her credit card statement. The only thing I could find was Happy Days. I'm like, well, Happy Days could be a strip bar, So I Googled on my phone, Happy Days strip bar, Happy Days nude, Happy Days sex shop. Happy Days is a car wash. So the next day I'm driving my daughter and her little friends, they're about 8, to the mall, and then they asked if they could use my phone. Because apparently I have something they've never seen before, an Android. So from the back I hear, Happy Days strip bar, Happy Days sex shop, Happy Days nude. I'm like, give me that. Now, I didn't get custody, but I do get 10% off car washes, so that... Before I got married, I had an affair with a married woman. Before it started, she said, I want things from you that I don't get from my husband. I think I need to look into this a little bit. I have no idea. Maybe I need a lawyer to answer that. And what happened was, so after they were from the South, so after we had sex, she told me, she goes, this is the best time I've ever had. So, anyway, that's right there. They all say that, right? So her husband found out about it through a random email, I don't know, and then, so I called him. I said, look, I've been having, obviously an affair with your wife, and I've been courting her and dating her, and I know I've been keeping her out late every single night, and I just wonder how you thought about that. what you thought about it. He said, look, we've been married 15 years, and this is the best time I've ever had. Strange way to have fun in that family. Before that, though, like when I was younger and I was dating, I couldn't believe the number of excuses I got from dating. You would not believe. I remember one woman said she couldn't go out with me because she had to wash her hair. Another woman told me she had to wash her fish tank. Right? But here's the one that, I don't know if I should believe it or not. She told me that she couldn't go out because her grandmother's water broke. Is that even possible? I don't know. Sounds like a plumbing problem, you know, I don't know. In Los Angeles, I asked a woman out and she said, no, the age thing, I can't do it. I said, oh, I'm sorry, I'm too old for you. She said, no, actually, you're not old enough. So. I remember I asked this one woman for her phone number and she said, I never give my number out. I'm like, you must not get many calls from anyone. She never gave her number out, never. I remember one time I asked a woman for a phone number, and here's what she did. She took her checkbook out. I don't know if anybody remembers. Took her checkbook out and ripped off her deposit slip. Do you remember? And, yeah. Deposit, gave me the deposit slip. It's got the name and the number, but it also has, like the deposit, the account number on there. Like, am I supposed to make a deposit? Yeah, I get the hint. Is there a minimum deposit required? I mean, I don't want to get a service charge. And people now, they're more direct in dating. Back then we weren't, like we used every word instead of saying sex. We just didn't say it. We used every word. I'm dating someone, right? And I asked her if she was seeing someone. And she said, well, I'm talking to someone. So she said, oh really? Does that conversation have anything to do with another man's penis? And she said, look, she goes, I just want to go somewhere. I want to go somewhere with him. He's just a friend. I go, where are you going to go? She goes, we just want to go to Bali. I'm like, I'm sorry, but I'm not comfortable with anyone I'm dating going anywhere with the word ball. Whoever I'm dating going anywhere with the word ball right in the middle. She said, I understand. She goes, how about Bangkok? No, you don't understand, okay? You don't understand. This is fun. I used to teach traffic school. I don't know if anyone has ever been to traffic school. It's a place before internet where you had to go to a traffic school if you got a speeding ticket. Whoa! I think you got a ticket right there. So if you got a speeding ticket, you had to go to a traffic school. And part of the class was that the class had to go around the room and they had to talk about drinking and driving. And one guy, I remember, young guy, he said, my parents both got hit by a drunk driver and they both died. I'm like, oh. He says, then I was adopted and my adopted parents got killed by drunk drivers too. I'm like, oh. I'm like, don't look at me, I'm not adopting you, you know. That's just too much of a coincidence. Another weird job I had was playing the accordion. That was a weird job that I had. I remember my parents started me on the accordion lessons when I was 6 years old. That's very early for a little boy to discover that he's never going to get laid, don't you think? The very first song I remember when we had a little, a little rehearsal and we had parents in the room, kind of like this. I was 6 years old and I remember my very first song. It was called The Circus. Would you like to hear it? Okay. And I remember it was something like this. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Burt Teplinsky, and I will play for you The Circus. Now, for that, they paid me 50 cents. based on how much we make in stand-up comedy, I consider that the good old days. So my wife was happy when she goes, "Are you taking that out?" "Yes, good. Get rid of it." She goes, "Can you lose it?" "No, that'd be great." My marriage is based on equality, right? Our marriage is based on as it should be, and we confirmed our commitments with rings, right? As people often do. The ring that I bought for my wife was $20,000. Yeah. The ring that my wife bought for me, $95. I think I see the indication where this is going. Nothing says equality more than with a ring that costs $20,000 less. Mine is $95. She wanted a gigantic king-size bed, so I got one for us. She gets that. I get the couch. So it just gets better. I don't know. Financially speaking, I remember the economy is a little bit odd right now, but back in the day, if we earned the amount every year in our age, I don't know if you remember that, if we earned our age, I wish that was the case now. No. In college, when I was 22, if you made $22,000, that was a lot, right? It's kind of the same now, but now they go by waist size. I don't know. Last year, I made 42. Regular. All right. My cholesterol is just out of control. I went to the doctor, and he goes, "We're trying to control your cholesterol." He goes, "What did you have for lunch today, for example?" I said, "I had a health cookie." You know, they have those, right? He goes, "No, there's no such thing as a health cookie." He goes, "Look, Bert, you're going to have to start exercising, losing weight, getting in shape. Otherwise, you're going to have daily cholesterol shots in your arm. That's what's going to happen. So you either get healthy or you get daily cholesterol shots. Which one do you choose?" I'm thinking the left arm. Do the left arm. You know, when we get married, we gain weight. I mean, I don't know if you know, most people think when you get married, you gain weight. That's exactly what happened to me. And it didn't take any time at all. Right after the ceremony, buttons are flying off. I'm like, flying off. I'm like, "Can you please slow down? You know, this is a rental tux, you know, and I want to get my security deposit back on that, so I really want that." My wife is nice. She's subtle about the way that she tells me I need to lose weight, right? Like this, on the way here today, I sat in my car, and the car went, "Meow." I don't know if your car, "Meow. Meow." And she goes, "What does that tell you? Time for a new car?" Huh? I'm at the age, I don't know the difference really between a biopsy and an autopsy. I mean, is there really much of a difference? I just know that an autopsy would probably hurt less. That's all I really know, you know. And you know, my mother had osteoporosis, and I thought I didn't really want that, so it was good. But then I realized it's not as bad as it looks. Okay, I was in Palm Springs, where a lot of old people are, and there was a dance place, and they were playing slow music, and I saw this little old man who was totally hunched over that at first I felt sorry for him. He walked around like this, and I saw him ask a woman to dance. And she was kind of short, and she had a lot of cleavage. And they went out to the dance floor, and the slow music, and he put his head directly in the cleavage. And they're dancing. And they're just dancing and dancing. Now, I don't know if this is part of osteoporosis, but he went like this. Brr, brr, brr. And then when he was done, he walked over to the corner and went, "Ah, I'm cured. I don't know if there's anybody in here that has maternal instincts but doesn't want children. I don't know if there's anybody like that. If you do, if you have maternal instincts but you don't want children, I have the solution. Marry, adopt, or date an old, bald person. Okay. We have a lot of the same things in common. Okay, we have no hair. We cry a lot, right? You can change our diapers, but here's the main thing, is that a lot of us come with our very own 401k. Yeah, so I would say, so that would be the better. A lot of people go to therapy now. I don't like to share my problems, my personal problems, unless it's like on social media. I don't want to talk about it. You know what I mean? If I have a problem, I keep it right here, really, really, really low, where a psychologist can't get to it, you know. But you know who can? A proctologist. They can right there. Yeah. I don't disturb my problems with solutions, no. If I have a problem, it gets bad, gets worse, unsolvable. But eventually, I will die. Problem solved. And it's affordable. And now with Medicare, 10% off that, get a discount. Get a discount. I'm at the age now where I get free gym membership. I don't know if you know that, but once you hit my age, you get free gym membership. You know, when you don't even want to go, that's when they give you the free gym membership, right? It's called silver sneakers. Silver sneakers is what they call it. You can have as many free gym memberships as you want when it's not going to help you. It's exactly. Last month I joined 5 gyms. I didn't use any of them, but I joined them. That seems to be my main source of exercise now, is joining gyms. Just signing up for that. I did try hiring a trainer. I don't know if anybody has a trainer. It's $100 a session. $100. So I found one that'll do it for $20. Can you tell? Can you tell? It's working out pretty well. One thing I learned about a $20 per session trainer is that you get exactly what you pay for. That's what I learned about that. One thing, you know, like if you want to improve your chest, you would do a bench press, right? If you want to get a bigger chest. Legs, leg press. That's pretty cool. But there's no such thing as a head press. I have to keep this head. There's nothing I can do. I'm stuck with this. I'm stuck with it. I think I was at a time in my life when I would ask women out, even after they rejected me. I would continue to ask them out. I think they call that stalking. You can call it stalking. I remember, I think one woman actually slept with me to get rid of me. Is that possible? I think that's possible. Because I remember, she said, look, if I have sex with you now, am I going to have to hear from you tomorrow? I said, if you have sex with me now, you won't have to hear from me today. Okay? I knew I was in the right field in comedy. I knew it was because when I had first asked, the first woman I ever asked to marry me, it's horrific, right? It's scary. And you know what she said to me? She said, marrying you would be ludicrous. What? So I looked it up and it said, so ridiculous as to cause laughter. That's what ludicrous means. So I knew I was in the right field. I said, what happened? I mean, why would you not marry me? She said, because I'm looking for someone established. I said, that's perfect. I said, I've been around since 1958. So here's my plaque. I mean, I remember I asked one woman out. We went out to dinner. It was a first date. We went to Cheesecake Factory, and we ordered food, ordered dinner, and while we're eating dinner, she calls the waiter over and orders another entree to go, and continues talking as if that's normal. I said, you must be really hungry. She said, no, it's for my lunch tomorrow. Yeah, smart. I'm still financing that dinner. I used to charge all my dates on credit cards. In fact, I'm still financing my last 8 failed relationships at 29.8% interest. My credit card now has a mirror on the back. It said, balance appears larger than it actually is. I used to date someone who, I used to sell timeshare. I don't know if you know where that is. I used to sell timeshare. That's where you sell a $30,000 mortgage on a condo that you can only use one time a year, right? And they put it on your credit card, right, in an hour. Like, it's amazing, right? They sell it. So I worked for a big company, and I remember that I asked the top timeshare saleswoman out for dinner. And she said yes. And then I realized this woman has the ability to extract over $30,000 on my credit card in an hour. Like, what if I dated her, you know? And there's every kind of credit card. Do you know how you could pay? I went to Whole Foods, and I didn't go to Erewhon, okay, but I went to Whole Foods, all right? And they have every kind of payment you could make. You could tap, right? You could swipe, you could insert, right? You could use your finger, you could use your eye, and now you could palm pay. You guys know about that? Is there any kind of body part that you can't make a payment with? You know? Now, I don't know if you know this, but Pfizer just came out with a new credit card payment method. It's called colonoscopy. So, now, purchases are easy, but returns are hell. A real pain in the ass. Yeah. I did write a book. John was right. I wrote a book called It's Not Going to Be Okay. I went to the bookstore. I still go to Barnes & Noble because I want to pick out which book I want to buy on Amazon. I don't know if you do that. I know one person does it. And there was I went to the psychology section, and I think now they call it the men-hating section. I don't know, because so many books for women on how to hate men, you know. I saw women who love too much, smart women, foolish choices. Men are just desserts. And I saw a book there that I wish I had because it's in the back. I forgot to get it. John, I asked John to get it. He probably didn't know where to look for it. But there's a book that's called Men Are Pigs and Deserve to Die. Okay. Yeah. And there was a woman standing there who said, "Are you going to buy a book on how to hate men?" She said, "I don't need a book for that, okay?" She said, "I'm going to wait for the movie." So maybe Tom Cruise will be in that movie. My parents never had this, they never had the sex talk with me, you know? They just would not, nobody ever had the sex talk with me. So one day my mom put a book, a blue book called How Babies Are Made in my bookshelf when I was like an early teenager. And I'm like, I don't have to read this, I'm just gonna wait for the movie. So that's okay. Maybe Tom Cruise, I don't know who's gonna be in that movie. I don't know, you know, I didn't know anything about sex. You know, I just couldn't figure out why sex was always associated with cooking. I just couldn't figure it out. Couldn't figure it out. I remember the first girl I ever had sex with, I remember she said, "You have to grease the pot before you put the meat in." I'm like, what does this have to do with cooking? What? Sounds like someone could burn themselves. And then a few years after that, this woman said, she said, "I want to toss your salad." Whoa. I said, you know, look, up until I was 14, my mom tossed my salad. And let me just tell you, I'm even right now, I'm perfectly capable of tossing my own salad. You know? And in any restaurant, so I don't have to worry about that. Somebody asked me if I could leave them with some advice on marriage. You know, married people, I don't know if you know this, married people live longer than single people. I don't know if you knew that, right? Married people, they smoke less, they drink less, and they have less sex. But we do live longer, so if you want a long life and a slow death, get married, all right? Thank you guys very much. I've been Burt to pleasure.